A Delaware County woman gets 20 years on first-degree murder charges. She'll only serve a fraction of that in prison.
COVID-19 booster shots are now available in the Joplin area for those who qualify. Details are next.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Delaware County woman gets a 20-year sentence for recording the drug overdose death of another woman. This is KOAM News at 6. Allie Anderson, charged with first-degree murder in the victim's death, will serve less than 3 years of her 20-year sentence. The judge suspended 17 years of her sentence, then gave her credit for time served. Anderson and her husband, Brian Anderson, were arrested in 2019 for Melissa Vermillion's death. Police say they injected Vermillion with meth, recorded her while she overdosed, and ignored her calls for help as she was dying. Brian Anderson died in jail last year. Freeman Hospital announced today that it's ready to administer COVID-19 vaccine booster shots to those who qualify. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to hospital officials as well as a Joplin resident who's eligible for her third shot.
COVID-19 booster shots are now available at Joplin's Freeman Hospital and many other locations, but only for patients meeting certain medical criteria.
Those patients who have severe or untreated HIV infection would qualify. Those that are actively receiving cancer treatments would qualify. Those that are severely immunocompromised and have some autoimmune disease, they would also qualify.
The CDC says that starting September 20th, members of the general public who received a Moderna or Pfizer coronavirus vaccine can receive a corresponding booster shot, as long as it happens at least 8 months from their second dose. Freeman Hospital has the Pfizer vaccines, but pharmacies like Stone's Corner in Webb City have both.
We've been able to start those booster doses, and they just need to be 28 days past their second dose for those that are eligible, and we'd be happy to help.
Natalie Mast is an immunocompromised Joplin resident who's especially vulnerable to the coronavirus. She's eager to get a booster shot and hopes all who are eligible will do the same.
The more we let this go, the more it's going to become more resistant to antibodies, either from natural infection or from vaccines. That's going to make it much harder for people like me to fight it off should we get breakthrough infections or should we get a severe infection.
In Joplin, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Freeman Hospital says their booster shots will be offered free of charge. The Jasper County Health Department is reporting 4 COVID-19 deaths. The patients were 2 men, one in his 50s, the other in his 70s, and 2 women in her 20s, and the other was in her 50s. The latest deaths bring the county's total to 190. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly says the number of new COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations in Kansas continues to climb, and according to the governor, infections are now more rapid than before the vaccine was available. Today, speaking at St. Luke's Hospital in Overland Park, the governor also addressed concerns regarding COVID-19 spreading in schools. She urged every school board across Kansas that hasn't already done it to implement mask requirements in their schools.
Child infections are preventable in schools if we work together and if we listen to the doctors. I urge every school board across Kansas that hasn't already to implement mask requirements in their schools. Until the vaccine is approved for children under 12, masks can prevent students from quarantine, from getting very sick and dying from COVID-19.
Warm and muggy, and now a few pop-up storms out there. Nick Kelly joins us.
Yeah, a few being the key word here, Chris, to start this Friday evening out. Most spots are dry, but from a distance, we can actually see some of the storm clouds north of Joplin. That's because of these couple of storms in parts of southwestern Missouri. We'll go in for a tighter look. This one particular cell near Nashville along Missouri Highway 43. That's not severe, but a good downpour is producing, so I'll watch that. And again, the tail end of the severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Dade County. We'll give that another 11 minutes before that is allowed to expire. Other than that, most of the area is dry, but the main show still out west developing. These scattered storms ahead of our next cold front. That is going to roll in later on tonight. In the meantime, upper 80s to near 90 degrees, but with so much humidity, it feels like the triple digits easily as we continue throughout the rest of the evening. But once we go into late tonight, Chris, we see how the rain chances ramp up, dropping lows to 73. We'll track these storms and the rest of the weekend here in just a bit.
Nick, thank you. Well, 4 staters have been trying to dodge the rain to finish some improvement projects that often involve hiring a contractor. The Better Business Bureau says there are several contractors who may advertise on TV or the radio and are verified and have a license, but they could still end up in some way shortchanging the customer. The BBB says it's always a good idea to visit their website and check out businesses. Also, always ask for references.
You pay a third up front, third when the job's in the middle, and a third when the job's complete. That way, if you do unfortunately have a bad contractor who cut and runs, you're not out as much money. Better Business Bureau also advises for you to go ahead and pay with a credit card when you can, instead of giving your bank account information.
You can always check out bbb.org for more information. Still ahead, a St. Louis nurse loses her baby to COVID-19, and tonight she has a message for other mothers. And later, we catch up with the Galena Bulldogs as they prepare for the upcoming season. New COVID-19 hospital admissions in St. Louis are approaching winter surge levels, and Southeast Missouri hospitals are under strain due to a surge in coronavirus cases and a rise in deaths. The St. Louis Metropolitan Pandemic Task Force says hospitals in the city reported admitting 100 new patients with COVID-19, the most since January 16th. A total of 585 people were hospitalized, including 25 children. Meanwhile, hospital data shows the number of COVID-19 patients being treated at Southeast Hospital and St. Francis Medical Center in Cape Girardeau has increased by more than 50% in the last week and a half. And the pandemic has uprooted life as we know it, both outside and inside our homes. For a St. Louis woman, the pandemic has infiltrated all aspects of her life. As a nurse treating COVID-19 patients at home with an infected husband and later getting the virus herself while pregnant. Emma Hogg has her story.
I was scared because I knew what this meant. I knew Axel would be born, and I know from being a nurse in school that his outcome was not good.
It was a fear that became reality for Vanessa Alferman about 20 weeks into her pregnancy. The nurse at Missouri Baptist Sullivan caught COVID shortly after her husband, but her mild case quickly took a turn.
About 1:30 on the 24th of November, I woke up and I realized I was in labor. I just realized that this isn't just spasms, this isn't something that not to worry about. It was definitely labor, and I realized that something bad was going on.
Alferman was rushed to Mercy Hospital in St. Louis, where she delivered her son Axel at just 22 weeks. He passed away just seconds later. She says doctors told her COVID caused a blood clot to form on her placenta that erupted.
To think that there was nothing I could do, like nothing I could have done would have changed what happened because I had COVID.
We are seeing some of our highest admissions with regards to pregnant women in our hospital related to complications related to COVID, and they are all unvaccinated individuals, unfortunately.
Dr. Asal Fathian, a maternal fetal medicine specialist at Mercy, says unvaccinated pregnant women have a higher risk of complications, including premature births, miscarriages, and stillbirths.
Really, the best protection pregnant women have against these complications is getting vaccinated. We know it's a safe vaccine in pregnancy. Women do well with it. And it's just your best way of protecting yourself and your baby.
Just weeks after her son died, Alferman, a healthcare worker, was one of the first to get a vaccine once they were available. Now, 17 months into the pandemic, she wishes others would too.
I have family, I have friends that think this is not real. It's a hoax, even after knowing my story, that the vaccine is a political issue, and it's definitely like a slap in the face to hear them say this to me.
And again, that was Emma Hogg reporting. Chad Disler from Holbert, Oklahoma, loved Jeeps. His admiration for the four-wheel drive Earth Roamers was passed to his 9-year-old daughter. So when Disler died following a fight with COVID-19, his daughter knew exactly who should lead her dad to his final resting place. She called on Jeep owners from the area to lead the procession, and they showed up. A Jeep owners group helped organize the 7-mile procession from the funeral home to the Pioneer Cemetery in Wagner. The group also had flags made for the procession to hang on the back of their Jeeps. Well, later on the KOAM News at 6, the Galena Bulldogs are preparing to take the field for the upcoming season. We'll hear from the team in sports.
And while we stay hot and humid this weekend, we have some thunderstorm chances to track, especially tonight. We'll get to it next. We held off on the returning summer heat for so long, but it definitely made its presence known once again as we kicked off the weekend today. After seeing highs in the upper 80s around Joplin Regional yesterday, we dropped back into the lower to middle 70s this morning, and right back. Not what we wanted to be just yet, but Mother Nature always has the ultimate say-so, so we did hit at least 91 officially for an afternoon high, at least so far. We'll double check the almanac later tonight at 10. In the meantime, though, we did have, if we can rewind the storm tracker here, some scattered storms on the Missouri side this morning, maybe a few showers during the early afternoon on the Kansas side. That did amount to some rain. Some of the heavier pockets trying to put down half an inch, almost an inch and a half of rain, but on the average, again, 1/10 of an inch. Some of you still yet to see a drop of rain, but I do still think we're going to get a better shot for more widespread rain and storms once this eventual line comes in as clusters of storms as our cold front starts to make headway into the region. In the meantime, though, we are actually keeping an eye on a few storms with the last severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for southeastern Dade County. That storm's collapsing, so not looking impressive right now. So the only other storm on the board is straddling, let's say, 126 in southern parts of Vernon County, and almost Sumac and Thorn Road in northern parts of Jasper County, east of Nashville. Not particularly strong, but it's producing at least about a lightning strike or two every minute or so, and a lot of downpours. And certainly from 7th and Rangeline, we're actually looking into the storms. Amazing to see it build throughout the course of time here. But we're dry in Joplin, 89 degrees. Feels like 100 though, thanks to the dew point back to where we don't want it to be in the mid 70s. Most of us are in the upper 80s to near 90, but it feels like the triple digits easily with all the humidity in place. Ultimately though, this humidity will lead to an increase, quite an increase in thunderstorms late tonight into tomorrow morning, which will send lows back down to about 73. Again, those thunderstorms, that is what's heading our way later on tonight. All these thunderstorms ahead of a cold front that won't completely sweep through the region, even though it will keep some rain chances around this weekend. So even though this upper low is going to try to push this front through, this upper level ridge is going to ultimately win the day, send that front back north early next week, and definitely keep us hot and humid. So let's focus on the storms while I have the remaining time here. Here's 10 o'clock. Ahead of the approaching front, we will see these clusters of storms start to work into our northern counties. At this stage in the game, I do not think these will be severe, but we're going to watch out for heavy rainfall potentially, and maybe some minor wind gusts and some small hail. But again, something I'll still watch as we go through the overnight. But it will send us into the lower to middle 70s. Then I think we're dry for a Saturday afternoon, but with the returning sun, we're going to heat up again. 73 in the morning, 85 by noon. Afternoon highs right around 90. So breaking down the 7-day forecast, we'll throw in a few more thunderstorms on Sunday with highs around 93. But then that upper ridge firmly in control. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we see highs around 96, 97 degrees with warm and muggy starts to each of those mornings in the mid 70s. And the humidity will stay high for those days. Chris, I'll have to put in alert days for eventual heat advisories that could go out. And hopefully we'll throw in some minor rain chances and a little bit of a cool down by late next week.
It'd be nice to have some kind of a little bit of a cool down just because it is looking pretty toasty out there.
Yeah, but at least all this heat and humidity will lead to storms later on tonight, something we'll still watch closely.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Well, coming up in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs hit the field tonight for their second preseason game, and the Galena Bulldogs are just 2 weeks away from their season opener. Jacob Leonard joins us with the Bulldogs season preview next.
The Galena Bulldogs are finishing up their first week of fall football practice. Now, Galena is one of the most consistent programs in the area, averaging 8 wins per season the last 5 years. Now, the Bulldogs are switching a few things up this fall, but they're still hoping for the same success and another run into November.
All right, let's have a lot of good work here. We're going to go 2 plays and then next group up.
The Galena Bulldogs are wrapping up their first week of fall practice.
I just like the way our kids are working.
Good, drive. Terrible. Let's go. Come back.
Working hard and listening, and I think they're getting better every day, and that's the key.
We just got to get lower. We got to get better, and we got to get lower. Okay, all right, everybody to the sled.
Galena will once again be a physical team with an emphasis on the run game.
That's always going to be our strength because that's just kind of our philosophy. We want that.
These are the guys that always win for us. I promise you, bar none.
I think we got a good core group of linemen coming back to, to understand that's what we like to do. That's our identity.
All those skill guys, they get their pride just because of you. Be that guy that sacrifices every day. These are the dudes that I love right here.
While the Bulldogs are known for their ground game, they're opening up the playbook a bit this year with senior quarterback Brett Sarwinski returning.
Anytime you have a quarterback that can throw it, you especially throw it deep, you want to take those opportunities when they come. And so, that's something that, we have to kind of change our mindset just a little bit and say, hey, you know what, we're going to throw the football a little bit.
Well, we're just changing it up a little bit, throwing teams off, trying to find the best way we can to win the game. So if it means running the ball, we'll run the ball. If we got to pass the ball, we'll throw the ball. Either way is fine with me.
The team is hoping for another deep playoff run this fall and hoping for a hot start with 3 straight home games to begin their schedule.
Anytime you play at home, you love to play at home. That's what it's all about, the Friday night lights that everybody always talks about.
When you can get the energy we get over here cheering for us every night, it's awesome. I mean, it just lifts us up and keeps us going the whole game.
Galena's first game of the season will be on September 3rd at home against Commerce, Oklahoma. NFL preseason action tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. And both teams won their first preseason game last week. Chiefs, you may remember, beat the 49ers 19-16. Now the starters for Kansas City tonight are expected to play about a half. The game time is at 7. We'll have an update from this one tonight at 10. Well, tonight is also Jamboree night for high school football in Missouri. We'll have some highlights from Joplin's Jamboree with Webb City, Lamar, and Seneca tonight at 10. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
We take time now to honor a local veteran. Sergeant William McCoy served in the U.S. Army. He was stationed in Germany with the 11th Armored Cavalry, his hometown, Neosho, Missouri. And we're proud to salute Sergeant William McCoy. He's tonight's 4th state hero. And of course, remember, learn more about other heroes or to nominate one of your own at any time. Just head over to our website at KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on the KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Some scientists say information the U.S. government has provided about COVID booster shots is not compelling enough to justify the shots. Also, the latest from Afghanistan, where evacuation flights were paused earlier today. And a look at growing challenges cities face while trying to maintain a recycling program. That and much more tonight on the KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Well, you could see the joy on Pope Francis's face as he enjoys a new gift. An Italian nonprofit group founded to promote table soccer gave the Pope his very own game. Most people know it as foosball and have given the rows of molded soccer players a spin or two. Sport Toscana Calciobalilla views foosball as an inclusive sport that can be played by people of all ages and physical ability. The group says it wanted to give the Pope an inclusive gift that disabled people can also enjoy. Hailing from Argentina, Pope Francis is a well-known soccer fan. Teams from around the world have given him personalized jerseys, and he has hosted players at the Vatican. With rain in the future, it might be a good time to stay indoors and enjoy around the foosball.
Yeah, and if it isn't raining, certainly over the next several days, you'll have to want to stay inside because the heat and humidity will be on for next week, that is for sure. We'll watch for widespread storms late tonight into tomorrow morning. Then the rest of Saturday should be dry with highs around 90. 93 Sunday, then mid to upper 90s with some high humidity. It's going to be very much like August starting the week ahead out, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you. That's our time for now. We'll see you back here at 10, and thanks for making us part of your night.